and that's because of the Trump tax changes where you can only write off $10,000. The average person there has $16,000 in property taxes. They're looking to flee. This may be another question on population. I don't want to go deep into it. I think it's pretty easy to to recruit 1% of 500,000 people. That's 5,000 people, counties revitalized. I have an exact plan on how to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, John. We're going to now go to the judges and ask a question of them and give each of them a chance to answer. Matt, I guess we'll start with you since you're on the closest to me. What are your thoughts concerning liberal colleges and universities not allowing speakers to speak, conservative speakers to speak, and the impact of this on the First Amendment?
Well, obviously, we have the First Amendment, and the freedom of speech is one of the most critical rights that are granted to us under our Constitution, as are all of the rights granted under the Constitution. And, if there is a time where people, certain groups at colleges are not allowed to exercise those rights by allowing the speakers, whoever they want to come in, as long as it's not something where, it causes a risk of harm to anybody. But, these groups, these individual students do have a right, I believe, to have, now this is my personal opinion, but they do have a right to have people in. That's one of the guarantees of our Constitution.
Thank you. Jessica.
All right. So I do agree with Matt, obviously, that it is the right of the Constitution, freedom of speech. And I myself, I'll just give a personal example here. My undergraduate school, I went to Bucknell University. It's a fairly liberal school. My law school, I went to George Mason University School of Law, which was a very conservative law school. And I actually found both to be incredibly useful, and it makes you a more well-rounded person. I heard views from both ends of the spectrum, and I think that challenges your own personal beliefs, and I think you have to do that in order to determine whether what you believe is true. You have to hear the other side, and I think that would be a huge benefit to college students to hear from both sides. And from a legal standpoint, obviously, there is the First Amendment, and by not allowing that, you are infringing on that right, and I would not agree with that.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you. As these two have already very aptly said, our freedoms are very important to us and they must be maintained. And freedom of speech is extremely important. And the idea of the college not allowing speech in is upsetting on so many levels to me, in that if you're not educating your students to actually look at every issue, both sides, and form their opinions on their own, then you're just forcing your own opinions on them. And they're not learning where their thoughts are, where they want to go in the future, and how they want to grow. You have to have both issues going forward so you can understand what you're fighting for and what you're fighting against. The idea of freedom of speech coming into their schools, there can be protests. There's always been protests in our country. There always will be protests in our country. Civil unrest, as long as it's kept peaceful and everything, will happen, and it actually can benefit the progression of thoughts and ideas on both sides. So to stifle that in any manner stifles the Constitution and stifles our way of life completely. So as a judge, you want to be sitting, looking at both sides of the issue, applying the facts as they come to you to the letter of the law. That's the same with the freedom of speech. Thank you.
That's an excellent question, and these candidates have touched on a lot of what I was going to say, but the bottom line is freedom of speech is the First Amendment would think that trying to prevent that would be a form of censorship. And, certainly, that's not what our founders had in mind when they drafted the Constitution. So, as a judge, you must uphold the Constitution and the amendments to them. So, I can't see any example or instance where that would be appropriate.
Thank you.
They said it all. No. I guess from my perspective, and having gone through college and sat and listened and learned, and often been on the wrong side, people would tell me, well, that's not the right opinion to have, that's not right. Well, how do you know what's right and what's wrong unless you listen, unless you hear, unless you spend time, unless you learn from other people? And I'm not sure how or why anyone would ever want to stop that, especially at a college, period. It's violative of our Constitution, and as a judge, my job isn't to write the laws, my job is to enforce them. So I'm going to sit back and I'm going to listen to everybody. But that's the kind of experience that I want the people coming before me to have. That's the kind of experience I want my children to have when they're in college. I can't even imagine sitting there only hearing half of everything, not the other half, or not the third side, or the fourth person's opinion. It's okay to learn, and that's a way of learning. So not only does it violate our Constitution, and not only is it not something I would never want or never see, but it's something I wouldn't want for my family or for any other family or any other kid in school.
Thank you. It's good to hear everyone speak to that, even though obviously there wouldn't be any dissenters to the First Amendment. All very much. I will go back to the commissioners now. Regarding the current budget, if elected, what would you do specifically to increase revenue or to decrease spending? A lot of you have touched on this. Maybe some of you think it's fine the way it is, but what's your opinion on what you see as ways to increase revenue or decrease costs?
Well, as you may know, the primary source of revenue for county government is property taxes, right? And while we haven't raised millage and have no desire to do so, the more active property you have on that roll down, which raises revenue without impacting your wallet. So the best way to do that is get more property on the tax roll. We're doing that through our land bank right now, taking delinquent properties and foreclosed properties and making them active again, making them pay taxes, which in turn lightens the load on you. Also by some things I referenced earlier, by creating a new industrial park, which is immediately going to be taxable once those lots sell to industry, which will raise property taxes on that, in that area, helping the bottom line here. As far as cutting revenues, or as far as cutting expenditures goes, my record speaks for itself. Whenever I see something that's wrong, I go after it. When there was a no-bid contract over the past couple of years for a high-cost insurance program that costs more workers' compensation than we ever spent in the county before, I called it out and said it was wrong. Took my colleagues a little while to catch up. We changed it this year. When the last Republican majority commissioners brought a no-bid contract to privatize human resources, more money we ever spent before in human resources, I called them out. Took a few years to get through that, but all has proven right there as well. Well, we're back to a more cost-efficient method to do services that rightfully belong in-house. So when you combine raising property revenue by putting more property on the tax roll by increasing millage, and combine that with analyzing contracts, particularly those in the professional services realm, that's how you best manage your budget.
Thank you, Ted.
As far as with maintaining your, as far as with maintaining your tax base, we have to look at as far as with expanding, as far as with, again, as far as with manufacturing, and also as far as with drawing people in, as far as too is as far as if we're looking at possibly, or other people are talking about where else can you cut. From my understanding, from my involvement with part of this campaign is there's a lot of jobs out there like down at the manor that aren't being filled because of the fact that they're, the wages are low and the service is actually poor at times. We also have as far as within the prison. I mean, we've read an awful lot about it, and it seems to me that only recently the commissioners authorized as far as with full-time staff to replace a lot of part-time people that really just use that job as far as a rotation basis and that. So we don't get quality people. So right now, as far as with cutting more out of the county, I'm not sure if we can do that. I mean, sure, there's going to be areas where we can, as far as with staffing and so forth. But I also want to look at it as far as some of these contracts that some of the current county commissioners that have supported that have cost basically the ratepayers, taxpayers, millions of dollars. We're going to be looking at some of these agencies out there that I know for a fact that have some trimming to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll fight for you.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, when we look at the current budget, it's pretty fixed. I don't think we should go by saying, okay, direct cuts in every department. We're going to cut off 10% every department. I really don't think that's good. I'm trying to compare sometimes, like if you look at the Penn State sporting program, you have football, which makes a lot of money for the school, and you have all the other sports that you have to have to support. And so some of them are weaker sports that don't produce any money. So the football does produce more. So sometimes you have to put more emphasis on that because they can get paid off of it. But that's stronger. So that's how I look at the budget. I mean, I don't look at debt as compared to deficit. You can't continue to have deficit spending. Debt can be good or bad. You can go into a business and go to debt for 3 years and become a good business and make money the rest of your life. But when you're deficit spending, you can't recover that. Eventually, other than government, they can deficit spend because they can raise taxes and raise fees. Nobody else can deficit. When you're in business, if you spend, deficit spend, you're down to too.
Thank you, Lou.
So there's a reason Commissioner Hopus went first, because he took all the good answers. And so I guess I'll say that one of the things I learned at Pitt is that you have to learn to listen and work with a lot of people. And so I think Commissioner Hopus said a few good things. There are some things that the Board of Commissioners are currently doing to attract businesses and to get more property back on the tax rolls. That's very important. That is one of the main ways to boost our revenue. Also, like Commissioner Hopus, recently I pointed out the Volpix Caliber insurance contract. Things like that are what kills the county. Whenever you go from a contract that's $75,000 a year to administer workers' comp to $1.7 million a year to administer workers' comp, that's a big waste of money. And that type of checks and balances are what we need. And so I would definitely be your watchdog and look after those things.
Okay. When that workers' comp contract was signed over 2 years ago, I jumped right on and wrote a letter to the editor. I've written 3 letters to the editor on that. And I do have to say, I think Ted makes the right decisions for the county when it comes to the budget and doing the right thing. I don't know why our other commissioners don't. There seems to be some friends and family and who give donations involved with that. But that's a problem, and he made the right decision, but we have pressured that for 2 years, because it was a bad contract, given to the highest donor of one of the commissioners. One of the other things that we need to do is this project labor. And look, I know when I read the Trib mostly, you're paying 3 times more to have some guy do our paving because you're using union contractors. Okay, we have to get rid of project labor, get the best person for the company for the job at the best price. not always the cheapest, but we can get the best. The other thing is, if you watch what's going on right now in the country, our president's doing the right thing with Sony. And again, in December, when I put my website up, I talked about our Sony plant that sits, I don't know, 3/4 empty, 2 million square feet. We need to make a list of the companies that manufacture abroad, put together a good letter from the county and Economic Growth Connection, which I was on their board. Whatever we have to include in that blueprint, send it to those American companies that manufacture abroad. This is exactly what I was waiting for. Trump took on China. Now they're talking today about Apple maybe coming back to the U.S. or even Mexico. We can get one of these manufacturers to take that Sony plant. It's perfect timing. I've been talking about this since December. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Well, we go back to the judges now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got to the end of the table, I thought that was the end of it.
Well, I have to agree with what John said about the PLA and Commissioner Copeland said about revenues. And the county's revenues come from property taxes. As we know, school board is the most expensive tax that you receive. Then it goes to your local tax. Then your property tax is last. We have to get young people buying homes. Keep them here. What happens if our workforce is gone? You know, for example, I have the blessing right now. I'm on my 8th meet and greet going out to